any of it away. Mr. Jobs, you're a technology revolutionary. The Apple story is nothing short of incredible. The iPod story is nothing short of incredible. So let me ask you, with respect to this new collaboration or the resumption of this collaboration on animated pictures, what is the linkage between these animated pictures and all the new handheld, mobile, wireless devices?
Look at the smile on his face. Look at the little smile.
You know, you mentioned that one of the first people that Bob called was elected to be CEO of Disney. When we were doing the video iPod, Bob was the first person that I called. And the first person we talked to about putting content on, and the first company that really came with us to do that at its introduction. So, you know, we've been talking about a lot of things in the future. Obviously can't share them at this point, but
I will be sharing them with you in a couple of minutes.
Steve Jobs, it's Jim here, right outside your front door, actually, in Emeryville, outside the Pixar gates. I just have a quick question for you. You know, Larry sort of touched on this, the relationship with Apple Computer, the relationship with Pixar, the relationship now with Disney. My sense is that there's something much bigger at work here.
Yes,
not just two
there
studios
is something bigger at work.
Something along your vision of where you see all of this going. What is the Steve Jobs and now Bob Iger vision?
I will
as
tell
these
you.
two companies get together and work so closely with that other company, your computer. Where do you see it all going?
Now, he is not going to tell us where he sees it all going. In fact, wow, this is great. I'm going to cut this, but don't worry. This is one of the most historic moments in the history of Apple. This announcement is so big, it's bigger than this zit right on my head. That's how big this is. Now, these guys don't want to tell you what a huge week this is for Disney, Pixar, and Apple. But right there, you can see two guys who already know that they've won. They're the winners. They have won something that is now, Apple is 5% market share, meaning essentially that if you hear that, that's a baby screaming over there. That's how excited she is. She's a baby screaming, but I'm not doing anything to her, so don't worry. So, these guys have a vision for what is going to shape the 10 years, or God knows how long. And what they're going to do, they're not going to tell you the vision, but I know the vision, and I know what's going to happen. This is the first step towards getting a new future of Apple users, because right now, you hear that baby over there screaming, if you hear her, great. She doesn't know about this. She doesn't know about Bill Gates. She doesn't know about Steve Jobs. She doesn't know about Apple or megahertz or processors. But when she grows up, she's going to know about certain little things like Dory. Everybody knows who Dory is. Finding Nemo. Mickey Mouse. These amazing... So like I said, back to the baby. What these guys have is a vision of Robert Iger, Disney, and Steve Jobs, Apple, coming together. So what is that vision going to be? I'll tell you a little bit of what's going to happen. We're going to see, obviously first, you know, a lot of these iPods are now going to become the Mickey Mouse iPod, the iPod, the Donald Duck iPod, and that's going to attract children to get into iPods. So you see what I'm saying? You're going to have, kids are going to be able to go into Disney stores or go into, you know what I'm saying? And they're going to be able to, you know, be able to see Apple products in Disney stores. So a kid will be able to walk in and maybe he'll see, you know, the Dory iPod. You know, Dory, and then you listen to Dory, but it's not going to have music of like, you know, Hoobastank or Fall Out Boy or any of these. It might have songs from Pocahontas. It might have songs from, you know, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Beauty and the Beast. It might be a Beauty and the Beast iPod, and then there's going to be the video iPod, and the baby screaming in it. But what's going to happen is you're going to see the video iPod is going to become something that you're going to be able to buy the Aladdin video iPod, and kids are going to be able, you know, if there's one thing that kids do now, is that, you know, they come up to you and they say, oh, you know, put on, you know, the DVD of Bambi, or put on Cinderella. With these video iPods marketed straight for kids, you don't have to do that. You'll be able to just put a bunch of Disney movies that you either download from iTunes and pay $1.99, and you'll be able to have Bambi on a video iPod. And the kids will never have to really need the DVD player again. They'll be able to take it to school and listen to their favorite tracks from Aladdin and watch Aladdin all at the same time. So that's just step you know, that's a step for the iPods. But what this really is a bigger deal of trying to get iMacs into kids' hands, because you're going to be able to have, you know, right now they have the Mac Mini. You're going to be able to have the Mini Mouse Mac. You're going to be able to have the Goofy Mac. You're going to be able to have the Pluto Mac. And what these things are, they're going to have built-in operating systems that are catered for kids. So right now, a kid, he doesn't really know Internet Explorer, he doesn't really know any of that stuff, but he'll be able to have themed style. So let's take one of the greatest Disney movies, Snow White. You got Snow White, you load up, you know, your operating system, and then you start up, and maybe, you know, what is this, Sleepy might put this system to sleep. Click on Sleepy. Maybe Grumpy takes you, I don't know what you could take for Grumpy, but you know what I'm saying? Like each dwarf will represent an icon, either my computer or Internet Explorer, Safari. You know, since we're talking Mac, you know, obviously, basically they'll represent little icons that kids can relate to, and maybe you have little flash animations of, you know, let's say Snow White saying, "Oh, click here," and you can go blah blah blah. Or maybe you have Peter Pan and Captain Hook will come out and, you know, say, you know, walk the plank and then blah 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 blah. You. Or maybe you'll have Simba, the Lion King, you'll get Pride Rock. Like these will be screensavers that'll be like front row, that the kids will be able to just click on their favorite characters and they'll be doing what essentially we can do now on a computer, which is, you know, Internet Explorer, open up iMovie, all these things, and the kids will be able to learn through that using these new Disney theme styled Mac operating systems, and they'll be built into the new Macs because they'll be so fast, so powerful that, you know, kids will be able to have, like, you know, different user settings. So I can use my user setting and just go to Jaguar or whatever the heck, you know, in Mac OS 10 and just go and use it normally. But then my little brother, or I don't have a little brother, but maybe my little niece will be able to come in and go, "Ooh, Little Mermaid," and log on to her Little Mermaid account, and, you know, there goes Sebastian telling her, you know, "Under the sea, and let's explore the internet," and it'll be safe, and kids will be able to have their own MySpace. You'll see, like, these kids will have their own MySpace, and they'll be able to have download music, download all this stuff from Disney products. So, you know what I'm saying? They'll be able to download episodes from the Disney Store. They'll be able to, you know, like the Disney Channel, and like all this stuff. So that's gonna get kids with these Disney stores are gonna be like, you know, and the Disney theme parks are gonna be just, you're gonna get off a ride and boom, Mac, you know, the Mac Mini, or the Mac Pluto, or the Mac Peter Pan, or the Mac Simba, or the Mac, you know, anything. I mean, basically, kids are gonna buy with their eyes, because kids, they don't buy with, like, you know, they don't know, okay, 3 megahertz, you know, 3 gigahertz on it, 3 gigahertz processor. They don't buy that. They buy with their eyes, and they say, you know what, I like Aladdin, so I'm gonna buy the Aladdin system. And then you buy, it's basically a Mac with, you know, everything built in, but it has, the shell of it is built to be like an eMac, or, you know what I'm saying, like the Mac, you know, Mini. It's gonna be themed towards Disney products to get kids, and that the option is easy to use so kids can log in and learn. Because I didn't really get a computer till, what, 2001, and it's now, what, 2006, so I've had a computer for 5 years, and I really didn't get to the nuts and bolts of it until 2001. So before that, when I had a Packard Bell, yes, Packard Bell sucks, I would use it for Toonland and Spider-Man, you know what I'm saying? That was the only reason I wanted to play games. So games are going to be built into these Macs, and you know, it's going to really get kids into using, maybe editing movies, or maybe editing, but it's all going to be done in a Mickey Mouse style, that these Disney, that they can now collaborate. So that's going to get future generations of kids, like that screaming girl, if you hear her, you're going to get her, you know, basically, she's going to grow up not knowing about PC. She's going to grow up knowing, I want to get the Princess Jasmine version. And she gets the Princess Jasmine. And that these different, it's just going to be so customized. And, you know, see, and then the theme parks are going to be just as great, because what you're going to get from theme parks is Epcot. They might change Epcot. Epcot could become the new Mac world. They could just take out the Epcot ball and put in a giant Mac, you know, I mean, do it in Macintosh. Put in a giant apple that's been bitten into, and take out the Epcot ball, and then he could have Mac Worlds, you know, or, you know, keynotes at Disney World, and Mickey Mouse can come out, and maybe, you know, so all these characters can come out during the keynotes and get kids involved. So it won't just be something that's just, these keynotes are not something for just developers or people the age of such and such. It'll be all ages will be able to go to the keynotes and enjoy and see, you know, Pluto and Mickey Mouse and all these keynotes. And on top of being back with Pixar, this vision is going to be, I mean, I'm telling you, you're going to see the Mickey Mouse iPod commercial, because they're going to have a little Mickey Mouse iPod style version, and they're going to have all, and kids in elementary school and middle school are going to grow up using these Macs Disney style, and they're going to use these, and then eventually they're going to be able, you know, okay, I'm kind of grown up, I'm tired of Disney, okay, boom, and then and the same, you know, iMac or MacBook Pro or whatever it is, or the G5 or G6, G7, G8, whatever it is, they'll be able to just click new user, and now they're using Safari, now they're using iLife, now they're using iPhoto, which is what they've already been using, the Disney style version of it, but now they're using it in, you know, newer ways, so that to me is going to revolutionize what kids use, because graduation night around the country, a lot of people go to Disney World, so right there, boom, you're going to get kids from high school who graduate, and boom, they're going to be there at Disney World, and they're going to see Mac, you know, you're not going to Epcot, you've got, you know, an entire, basically, world that is just Mac world. It's like this Mac world with rides and games and iPods and just, it's going to be, they finally, to me, this is so big that I don't even think companies know how big this is. This is like, to me, this is like Jar Jar Binks giving, you know, supreme powers to, emergency supreme powers to Chancellor Palpatine, and then he goes and he creates the Galactic Empire. That's what Robert Iger has done for Steve Jobs. He's just basically handed over the keys to Disney and said, let's, you know, let's do this. Let's get kids from the age of, you know, 7, 5, and up to start using Mac, to start these kids when they go into elementary school and they have to do projects using the Mickey Mouse Mac or the Minnie Mouse Mac, and then eventually what they're using is a Mac and an Apple processors. So eventually, you know, down the line, that Windows, XP, Vista, whatever they use, is going to be able to use, you'll be able to run a Windows on this Intel chip. It won't be, you know, 100% perfect, but if you need to do something on Windows, if you have to, if you're curious about Windows, you'll be able to use Windows on the Mac, and it'll be so fast because these processors are only going to get faster. So you'll be able to run these things, you'll be able to run Windows. So it's like using Intel, using Disney, using Apple, and now Pixar, you know, that's great for Pixar, which is I predict they should stay together. Cars is still going to suck, but you know what I'm saying? Like, this is so much bigger because they've hit it. You know, these two guys have hit it on the nose, and they've created something that, you know what I'm saying, that is going to transcend and is going to get kids of all ages in the future just growing up back. They're going to be using these. It's like to me, it's like if I was what was it, HP, Compaq, Gateway, Dell, Alienware, any of these PC people, I would be extremely afraid right now, because what they're going to do is, what they're doing is like they're using characters to sell hardware. The same way that Nintendo uses Mario, Star Fox, Zelda to launch their new systems, or Sega had Sonic, and you know. And that's what they're doing now. It's like McDonald's. It's like they've finally got their Ronald McDonald. Apple finally has a face to go to kids, and that's, which is Mickey Mouse, and basically the thousands of characters that goes with the Disney name, and the thousands of movies that they can watch now on these video iPods, and the thousands of themed-oriented. This is so huge that I don't even think Bill Gates or any of these people know that this week was essentially the historic moment where these two guys, and their smiling faces because they won. That's the look of winners. You can see their face. That's the look of a winner on their face. They've won. Their 5% Apple market share is just gonna soon be, you know, 80% market share. These guys are gonna be dominating, and that Windows is just gonna be something that you can run on your Mac pretty soon, or if you're curious, and then only like hardcore hackers and stuff are just gonna be using Windows or Linux or whatever to do their things. But the majority of kids who are stupid, who are gonna grow up and go, ooh, Power Ranger Mac, you know, they're just gonna go for that. They're gonna buy with their eyes, and they're gonna go, ooh, the Pokemon Mac, and they're just gonna go straight for that. And then they're just gonna have used this for years, that they're just gonna be like, why am I gonna upgrade to Windows? I love the little Pokemon Mac, boom, and then they're using Mac OS 10 or whatever else is next. So this is the vision, and I see it, and it's as plain as day, and this is gonna be huge. And I'm telling you right now, you should be shaking in your boots. Gateway, Dell, you should be shaking, because these guys are basically going to take their market share, and they're going to get the people that they need to get, which is children. And the future is with the children, and these guys are going to, Disney is all about children. It's about the children in all of us. So you can. This is going to be an exciting couple of years, and like I said, it's bigger than this. Girls over there screaming, "She's happy." This is huge. So let's watch some more of these guys. But this, I'm telling you, this is huge, and I'm glad I'm here for this historic moment.
You know, actually, this is not the story of. I think you got the story a little wrong. What this really is about is Pixar buying the Bob Iger vision of where Disney's going. And you know, I couldn't have imagined this happening a year or 2 years ago. But when I had a chance to get to know Bob and hear about where he wants to take Disney, and also see that he understood the importance of animation, that's when our minds opened to allow this possibility. And so we're really buying into Bob's vision, not the other way.
Let me ask about that, and this may be rather indelicate, Mr. Iger, but it's a question that we've had from some shareholders out there. You're not exactly sitting next to a shrinking violet there in Steve Jobs, and you're also sitting next to the man who is going to become your largest shareholder and a member of the board of directors now. What are your expectations in your working relationship with Steve Jobs, and what do you expect from him in all this? I mean, on paper, he's going to be a big voice at Disney, but what do you expect from Steve Jobs once this deal is completed?
Well, I think Steve will be a big voice in many respects, and I think that's a good thing. Steve and I have been talking for months. We've done some business together through the relationship with Apple, which, by the way, has been a great relationship, and the potential that I see
It's going to continue.
to take great content, in this case, some of ABC's programs,